All right, good afternoon, committee. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The first item is Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Need attendance. Adrienne, will you take the roll?
Mike Scazzari, Betty Bishop. Where did Betty go? Joyce Ty, Phil Randazzo,
Present.
Vito Pianello,
Present.
Carol Thompson,
Present.
Marcia Relier,
Present.
Carol Weidenbach,
Present.
Joe Silbernagel,
Present.
Kathy Western,
Here.
Rochelle Fuquay.
Here.
Very good. We have a quorum. We can conduct business. Very good. Item 4 is adoption of the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda today.
I make a motion.
Second.
It's been made and supported. Any additions or discussions on the agenda? Seeing none, please vote. Please, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We got our automated system sometimes, so I like the old school way of just calling voice votes. Item number 5 is approval of the minutes dated September 28th, 2021. Can I need a motion to approve those minutes? Motion by Commissioner Pinello.
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Randazzo. Any discussion or additions to the minutes or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 6 is public participation. This is the first opportunity for anyone in the public that wishes to be heard to speak about anything on this agenda. And there'll be another opportunity at the end of the agenda to speak on anything that you want. That's whether it's on the agenda or not. Is there anyone from the public wish to be heard? Anybody else from the public wish to be heard? One more time, anyone from the public wish to be heard? Seeing none, we'll close public participation. And we'll open it up again at the end. Item 7 is a presentation from Macomb Organization Retiree Enrichment, or more. Tarrant? Sorry, I couldn't pronounce that properly. Welcome to our meeting today. We're glad you're here and look forward to hearing from you. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. I presume it's on here.
I need a motion to receive and file his report ahead of his presentation. Can I have that, please?
So moved.
Very good. Got a motion to support it. Okay, please, go ahead, Dave.
All right, well, let's,
Also, please state your name and organization you're from for the record, so we've
Sure.
got it in our system.
Yeah, my name is David Tarrant. I'm the director of the MORE program from Macomb County Community College. And I'm here to speak on that program today. I just wanted to thank everyone for the opportunity to them on behalf of the college. Well, the MORE stands for Macomb Organization for Retiree Enrichment, and you may have heard of the program under a different name, SOAR Macomb. We have rebranded that program. It's actually essentially the same program, only it's designed to be marketed better and developed into something that goes beyond classroom teaching, although that's the core of what we do. The mission is to provide educational, life-affirming activities for those in the 55 and up age group demographic. And we have an official mission statement, which I'm not going to read to you, but basically encompasses the concept that all people over 55 have value and needs that can best be met by giving them opportunities to learn and interact socially. And that's what we are doing. That's our mission. I mentioned earlier there were about 280,000 people in Macomb County that are above 55 years of age. And some interesting details underneath that is that 54% of them are female. And if you look at the attendees historically at our classes, they're probably more like 60% female. So it's particularly important to women, what we're doing. Not that it's not unimportant to men, obviously it's still important to men, but it's got somewhat of a bias towards women and their needs, so we try to program that way. We have seminars that are 2 hours long typically, and they're conducted in a spring term and a fall term and a short summer term. It's a very inexpensive program to join. This past fall, we just completed on Friday actually. The fee was 10 classes for $75. We're studying in the spring term, offering a graduated fee structure ranging from 5 classes for $50 to 15 classes for $90. In any case, it's not a lot of money. It's not about making money for the college per se. We want to be self-funding, of course, but our costs are pretty low. And therefore, the whole idea is to create opportunity for the senior community in Macomb County. Although I will say this, it's not limited to Macomb County, and it's not limited to 55 and up. If somebody shows up and they want to come to classes and they're from Wayne County, fine, we don't care. And if they're 53 years old, we don't care. It's basically open to anyone from anywhere, but the core market and the core target is 55 and up in Macomb County. We offer a really broad spectrum of classes. This slide illustrates how many of the 547 classes we've offered in the last 3 or 4 years that were in different categories. And we'll show you the breakdown in a second, but you can see there's both a broad array of classes that have appeal broadly across the spectrum of interests, plus niche classes for individual interests that may not be aspirational for many people. And so to illustrate that, these are the top class categories: history and health and wellness. And if you think about it, that's pretty logical for senior citizens to be interested in. Then literature, human interest, theater and film, politics, nature, and then all other. And you'll notice that all other is 1/3 of the classes, and that's illustrated back on the previous slide. We have lots and lots and lots of individual classes that appeal to different interests while maintaining these broad classes. The thing that obviously everybody's had to deal with over the last 2 years is COVID-19, and Moore was no exception. We had very, very robust class attendance in 18 and 19 with about 4,800 class units per term. A class unit is one person, one class. Obviously, many people take more than one class, so we have to think of it that way because not everybody takes 10 classes or whatever, but there are about 4,800 class units per term. This past term, we had 201 class units. So it was a devastating impact on the program. But we are recovering. We've made progress over the last 2 terms, and I'm a relatively new person in this position, and my charter from the college is to rebuild the program to at least where it was in 2018 and hopefully beyond. So our goal is to begin that process, and the immediate goal for the spring is to double the number of class offerings. We offered 30 classes this past fall with an average of about 7 people per class, including some on Zoom. The spring goal is 60 classes with 20 persons per class average, which is a major improvement. We have to achieve that, we have to deliver that, but that's the goal, that's our objective. If you look at this slide here, you can see that while we offered many fewer classes in 2020, and then more this fall and last spring, we didn't get a lot more attendees. And the reason is that there's a continuing fear of COVID. There's a lot of social issues around meetings. Although we've noticed in the last spring, in the fall term here, that as the term moved on, the attendance went up. So people are gaining more confidence in being in social situations, but still there's a concern. We didn't have very much success with Zoom classes when Zoom was only offered. And the reason is that when you teach, like here we are today, it's much easier to engage with the audience if you can see their faces and you can interact with them. And most teachers, and I teach there too, by the way, want to interact with the audience. So you might start a program and say, well, what do you think of this? Or what brought you to this class or whatever, and get people involved, and then you have energy in the classroom. That's very, very hard to do on Zoom. So we're trying something else. We experimented this fall with hybrid Zoom classes. And here you see a couple of screenshots of me actually teaching a class where we experimented with the technology. There's something called an OWL, which is set up to engage with both the computer and the Zoom program, such that when someone in the audience says something, asks a question or makes a comment, it recognizes that voice and zeroes in on them with the camera, and then puts that up on the screen in such a way that people who are on Zoom are sort of like in the classroom, but also people who are in the real life classroom can see a band of different views above the presentation itself. So everybody's involved in the same classroom, the virtual classroom that's created through this process. We tested that 3 times, and I'm happy to say we found that it actually could be made to work. We had some technical issues, but we worked through them. And therefore, we're expecting to do that in spring. So the idea then would be to have the standard in-person classes augmented by the Zoom program. But then it gets tricky, because for teaching to work, you need to have a critical mass of people in the room with you. And you can't have everybody on Zoom. So we still haven't worked out what the policy will be. And when we get to the Q&A section here, I'd love to hear your feelings and thoughts on what the policy might want to be. But that's something we're working on. So I said the immediate goal is to get up to 60 from 30 classes. We normally takes a couple of months after a term to finalize all the classes, and because we have a big ambitious goal, we've been working very hard behind the scenes during the fall term to set up the spring term. And of the 60 classes, we have 43 confirmed now. And we're fairly early in the process, so there's a good chance we'll get to 60. So that's step 1. Step 2 is getting the people there. And one of the reasons that I'm here is to help spread the word about the viability of MORE, and that we have a goal to rebuild the program and to invite people into it. So we're trying to multiply our efforts by simply being here and talking to this august body, because you all are part of a network. I mentioned also we want to move from 6.7 people per class to 20, and hopefully with the proper use of Zoom hybrid we can get there. Although, as I said earlier, 1,200 class units is still far short of the 4,800 that we expected in normal times. So we're not going to rebuild the program in one spring term. That's just not possible. But what is possible, I think, over time, is by a year and a half from now or so, we should expect to be back to the full 5,000 or so attendee units, and then go on from there. So what the immediate goals, obviously increased focus on outreach and marketing. I'm here for that. We are setting up qualitative and quantitative research to understand both our existing audience and our potential audience better. We've already started the qualitative research with some focus groups. We initiated yesterday, in fact, with the marketing folks at Macomb College, how to create outreach in terms of identifying potential attendees and getting their quantitative research done. We need to understand why some hundreds of the 280,000 people are aware of and attend the MORE program when there's such a big potential audience out there in this county. So we have to figure out who they are, what their issues are they aware of our program, how do we market to them better, and what is it they need from us. So that's something we're doing. We're also working on better materials for the course. One of the things that happened to the program was with the onset of the worst part of the COVID pandemic, people were laid off, and we didn't have anybody working on this. My present supervisor was even laid off. So there was nothing going on. And then we had to start from scratch with all the impediments put up by the program. So as a result, we were either didn't have a catalog or the catalog was late. The catalog's late. People don't understand what the program offers. They can't get into it on time and so on. So all these little tactical issues, which individually are manageable, have added up to a whole bunch of issues that were tough to manage. And that's what we're now doing, is getting on top of that by getting way ahead of the curve on the timelines for the project we have to manage here. And that boils down to an early release of the spring catalog. That means that it has to go to the keyliner in January. That means all the classes have to be settled, all the presenters have to be settled, all the materials have to be in, everything has to be done by the end of December. That's our charge. That's what we're doing. So now, after that setup, I just invite you to give me your questions and comments, because that's why I'm here, is to listen to you. And then any ideas, of course, along with that you have to improve the program. And then we're asking, if you're so inclined, we'd love to have you come and be a student.
Well, thank you, David, for the presentation. I must say, I wasn't aware of this program. I've been around quite a bit, and I wasn't aware of it. And you've come to the right place to get the program out throughout every corner of this county, because you have representatives on this board that are from commission districts from across the county in organizations that are part of larger networks of senior communities in each of our own commission districts. And so if you want to get something out, this is a good place to start.
Great.
And I think I've got to applaud the college for doing this program, because this gives people who maybe traditionally are less inclined to support a Macomb Community College millage because their kids are out of school, they're getting no value, what have you. Some people don't fully appreciate that. And you could have this program out there to say, listen, you're getting something for your, beyond the fact you're helping the county for so many reasons. And I mean, most seniors understand that, but to those that don't, you could say, listen, we're also offering these programs to our senior community at reduced rates, and that's really a value. I mean, I'm interested in all the programs you had down there. I'm a little disappointed that politics was so far down the ladder on there, but it's okay. I'm a history buff, though. So
you could help us fix that,
Well, I'd be happy to come in there and teach a class or participate in the class if you wanted me to. I'd be happy to help you do that.
Okay, we'll count on it.
Very good. The transportation to the classes. Transportation is an issue for many seniors. Are those a set times? I mean, how can we better help get seniors to these classes? Maybe that's part of the impediment. They have Zoom, which is very good, and I like the creative way you're using Zoom technology incorporated with your class. But could there be like transportation run from the senior centers to the classes if it's enough notices? Like my seniors in Washington are a long way from the college, but we have a smart bus, so we could take them down there to get into the class. And others just like it anywhere else across the county. That might be something that maybe you could have thought about.
No, I agree with that.
So I'll open up the questions. I've started to show a few questions of mine, but anyone have any questions or any feedback? He's looking for feedback. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I've been taking a few
Marissa.
notes. And I really like the idea of transportation also. And the only reason I have known about SOAR before was because Wayne State University had a SOAR program in Oakland County. And I was very jealous that it was way over there. So when the SOAR opened up here originally, I thought, oh, this is great. So that was how I found out about it. But if I hadn't known about the Oakland County program, I wouldn't have known about this one. Yeah, I think marketing it is really important in everything, and maybe getting a smart bus or so on for seniors to come together. And I'm wondering maybe either through Zoom or, again, having a small bus of residents from independent living and assisted living. If they could guarantee that 5 would come on the bus, maybe they could get a price cut or something. Mm-hmm. Again, as a whole choice of classes too, so I don't know how all of that, but maybe in a senior living place, enough people might want to come and hear about, some of the history of Detroit or something like that. And if enough signed up, then maybe the bus could bring them out for that class, but that would be another way to maybe generate more attendees.
Oh, I agree with that, and that's something we've talked about. We don't have the full solution on how we would arrange all that yet, but that's something everybody believes needs to be done. And the question then is priority, because, for example, assisted living is tougher than retirement center where people are pretty independent.
Right.
So we'd have to figure all that out, but that is something we are discussing already.
And maybe that might be your Zoom crowd, too.
Could be.
I've done a lot of work in all of these kinds of places, and even in nursing homes, there's a lot of residents who still want to learn, but they can't get out of bed.
Right.
Or they can't get out of their wheelchair. And so that might be an audience for some of the Zoom classes. And you could have a deal or something with the nursing homes or those to do, if you're going to do a hybrid. I really encourage you to look at those that can't get out. Maybe others don't want to get out, but and right now many of us are Zoomed to death. But it does have an advantage for those who can't get out. So
That's an excellent point. I totally understand. I think that's a very good point, and we're willing to look into that.
okay, I have another thought. Do you have like a thick card or something of a half day? Or a half-size card or something that you can distribute with information about more. I see a lot of people in the work that I do, and I can distribute all of that out.
Yes, and because I couldn't get to my office today, I didn't bring those. We have them. I'll bring them and have them here for you to pick up. That'll be on Monday.
Or could I pick them up at your
You could do that
at
too.
the community college
Yes,
also?
yes. But we have them. They're bookmarks.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, what we discussed yesterday's meeting is we're going to have a two-tier catalog system next year. The normal catalog that's glossy and has many pages that describes all the courses will still be produced, but there's going to be like a 4-page simple fold catalog that is a mailer that goes to all the people who we identify are not yet attendees. And that would be what we would send to the nursing homes or the retirement centers or whatever if they weren't already identified as an interested party. So there'll be 3 different kinds of leave-behinds. One is the bookmark, and then these other 2. So it's something we need to do a better job of. We're just re-cranking the program, so it's not all done yet, but yes, we'll do that.
And maybe a lot of people don't need to know that it's been around a long time. Maybe a lot of new people just know, hey, this is available now, and you don't need to know that it's changed its name or anything. But
No, and I still teach in Oakland SOAR personally. I maintain ties with those folks. You know, it's a community, and there's no need to have acrimony over anything like this. We just need to go forward.
where would I pick up these bookmarks?
From my office, and I'll make that clear in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You certainly have, sounds like you're very limited in staff. I really give you a lot of credit. You're taking on a major responsibility with many layers of organizational operations to make this work. And, we tossed on transportation. That's a major thing. Whole counties can't even get that straight, much less a program. But the whole communities can't get them straight, much less a program. So please take our suggestions with great. So I understand how difficult it must be for you to manage all that. Are you getting enough support from the college?
So far, yeah, excellent. In fact, in the short term, what I really need is just to be left alone.
Oh, okay, well, very good. Very good. Any other questions? Anyone else have any questions? Yes, please, Kathy, go ahead.
If I can comment, I've been a happy participant in SOAR and now more for a number of years now, and the variety of programs that they offer is astonishing. Everything from history to cooking. They would have a day where you could go into the college culinary program restaurant, and that was always a very popular program and difficult to get into. Speaking of politics, our county executive, when he spoke, would fill the largest auditorium on campus, and you might know how happy that made him. So there is some politics involved there. When I talk to people about the program, for a lot of people, the first thing they would see, though, is the $75 charge, and that loomed large. So any opportunities that there might be to make a la carte menu to pay only for what you attend would probably be appreciated.
Right, we're working on that. That's where the 5 for 50 idea came from. Also today I had my first official meeting with the Detroit Institute of Arts because that's a way to combine buses, get people bused from here to the museum with a free day, because by policy we can't charge for that. So we're looking at creative things. That's just one idea. There's many other ideas that we're exploring, but we recognize that some people really object to the $75 fee. That's true. And we also know that the transportation's an issue. This is a big elephant, like you mentioned, and we have to kind of get through it a bite at a time. You know, we can't solve it all at once. But we find opportunities like the DIA one, for example. Now you have a free afternoon. You know, it's not part of your $75 or $50, and your transportation is provided. So that's a start.
Have you considered, are you done, Kathy?
Yes, thank you.
I mean, $75 might be a lot for a person on a fixed income for a monthly out of their budget, but you say, well, you know, you said 5 for 50 or something like that. You've got to give them terms, right? Break it down so that maybe they pay $75, but maybe they pay it over, 6 months or whatever terms would be worked out to make it so it's manageable for them on an individual basis. Because, I mean, it's a lot. I know, seniors, could be a stretch. So all types of people. We want to accommodate everyone, and that would be something to think about. Anyone else? Anyone else on the first round? Anyone else that wanted to speak that hasn't spoken already? Okay, please, go ahead.
Okay, now, I like the idea of maybe 2 tiers of charges. It wasn't really a complaint, but I heard some people say in the past, I can't go and get 10 classes in the 6 weeks. And so it was almost too much and overwhelming. And so maybe, like you said, a shorter 5 for $50, or even, you think of a deal, though, if you could do 6 for $50, it's a little bit less than $10. And is the new semester going to be 6 weeks again?
Well, that's a great question, because I wanted to explain what we're doing in the spring too. We just had 4 weeks of classes and 30 classes within just 4 weeks. We're going to 60 classes, but we're doing it over a 7-week period. With a week of Easter, we're shut down. So we actually have a break from the 11th to the 15th of April. And we did that partly because our attendees said to us, it's too much. Sometimes we find classes we're interested in, they're offered like 3 of them or 4 of them in 1 week, and we get tired. So not only did we stretch it out to 7 weeks, but we put a down week in the middle, right at Easter when people are busy with other things. So we heard what our attendees were telling us in that regard. Now back to the stratification of pricing. One of the code I have to break is the program we use for people to sign up for classes has some limitations built into it in terms of how you structure the fees. So we have to do some reprogramming, and that has to get done by the middle of February. So like I said earlier, I don't think we're going to solve all of these in one step. It's going to take a while, but the most important thing now is to get all the feedback so we can order the work plan into some level of prioritization, and then match it up with the resource requirement and the timing requirement, like you do any program, and then see where we land.
Does the college mail out information, outreach to 250,000 people or 655 or over in the county? Do they target mail out to them? I mean, I look at some of the stuff that the college, in fact, the college just sent out a nice brochure or pamphlet recently. It had a lot of information in there, and if I had more time, I'd be taking advantage of it, right? But so is there any targeted marketing that's done to that group?
I wish you'd have been in the meeting I was in yesterday, because that was a big topic. Is how do we match up with the stuff that the college is already doing for the mainstream part of the college's work? 24,000 students, and this is not a trivial institution. And there's that tier, which is this is Macomb County College that is serving the mainstream of education demand. And then underneath that, it's the Cultural Center, which we're sort of a subset of, that's serving a different audience. And then there's us. And we're trying to figure out in this meeting how we get into those top 2 mailings. And it was something that's got substance. often we're in the top mailing, but it's just a logo. It doesn't really say anything. So we have to ride piggyback on those major programs of outreach, such that our message gets through. That was literally the topic of the meeting yesterday. So I totally agree with you. That's what we're doing.
Well, Dr. Jacobs would understand well that because the 250,000 people that this group target, that your program targets, are important people that need at the voting booth when it comes time to renew millages. And you're also another key reason why Macomb County is such a great place to live and work, because we've got cultural opportunities, educational opportunities for everybody across the board. And this is yet another one that I didn't know was out there. So it's an even another reason of added value to our county, and we need to brag about it. I know Commissioner Matuzik agrees, that I'm sure my board will agree, that anything we can do to promote it through our own channels here, we're certainly going to do. I've got already somebody that might be putting a link on our website, our commissioners page for seniors. Hey, check this out and go find out what's going on. I mean, it's great. It's really, really positive things, and anything we can do to support it, I think we want to do.
Great.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Mayor,
Please
have
go
you
ahead.
partnered up with the local nonprofit TV channels?
No, we haven't done that to my knowledge. Bear in mind, I've been on the job 5 weeks, so there may have been something done
That
before.
long?
We're giving you 5 years worth of ideas in one day, like 5 minutes.
Well, I mean,
But
it's
that's
just
a good idea.
suggestion. And then also even posting this in all the local cities. I mean, because people go into city halls a lot. And if you could post it, I don't mean partner up with them, but post it on their bulletin board and just say, hey, here's more information, give us a call.
Great idea.
You know what, I think if he recruits all of us to do our part and go back to each of our communities, to our local senior centers and post it up and talk it up, maybe hook them up with our local public access channel. We got Channel 6 where I'm at, Shelby's got their TV, Warren's got theirs, everyone's got their own type of spin. And maybe do a commissioner invite you onto a show and does a little cable show, talk about the value that this brings. You know, there's all types of ways that you've got a lot of friends that can help market it. We just need the material to help us do that.
Okay, well, we'll make sure you get it.
Sure.
I have some business cards to leave behind, so you know how to reach me and you know how to find the material and so on.
And there's no need to, you could probably mail that material up to us if you wanted
Sure,
to, and
yeah.
and we'll make sure to get it out there. I don't want you to trouble you to come up here,
Okay.
driveway. It's not an efficient way to do it. We'll
We'll
make
get it to you.
arrangements to get it from you somehow.
All right, good.
Anybody else? Okay, we had a motion. Yes.
Can I
yes.
ask a related question? And
Please.
I don't know if you'll know the answer, but does the community college have reduced or free tuition for people over a certain age, like over 70 or anything like that?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
I didn't, but I wanted to ask, but maybe
yeah.
put it in your, because some community colleges, Wayne County used to be free
Right.
tuition for anybody over the age, I think, of 70. And so, again, when you're talking about voters, and so, because there'd be some interesting classes for older adults to sit in on if they didn't have to pay anything for them.
Absolutely.
So just a thought.
No, I'll make a note. I'm making a mental note of that. I'll definitely look into that.
Very good. Anybody else?
Well, that would, that would bring a lot of veterans. Okay, and Macomb County, they would be thrilled to have something like that.
Yeah.
And financially, they could get covered by the GI Bill or other different venues that the VA offers.
Good.
So yes, what everybody's been talking about today, it's great what I've been hearing about communicating with the seniors out there, because I know Shelby Township, where I live, there's a big senior community out there, and maybe you would want to attend a senior community center meeting, okay, or a board meeting.
We're looking for those
But
opportunities.
like
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah.
you were new.
Yeah.
5 weeks into it, and there'll be questions, and you have to have them answers, but you're on the right track.
Well, the
Coming
first
here.
thing we did was go to a senior expo in Shelby Township, which was very, very well attended, and I think it was sponsored by Peter Lucido, in fact. And we had like 450 people stop by our booth. So we're looking for those things.
Well,
Absolutely.
you should do it again. It's a big senior community center
Yeah,
out there.
yeah.
Call Pete up and Tell him, let's have another one, you know?
Well, in that regard, we've talked with his office about him presenting for us in the spring, and he's agreed to it.
Right.
So, yes.
Yeah, he's a
And
great guy. Who
we
would do
need to
that.
have more politicians help us out.
Oh,
You got it.
yeah, Don's always there.
Yeah. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I need a motion to receive and file. The report's been made. All those in favor of doing that, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.
My pleasure, thank
It's been
you.
very enjoyable. This is why we have this committee formed, to find out information going on that can help seniors across the county that didn't know it before. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Item 7B, Navigating Services for Senior Program, Kathy Western. I don't see her here today.
I'm
I'm
crushed.
sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I was looking for somebody. I'm sorry. Sorry, Kathy. I could say I didn't see you, but I did see you.
I know you're kidding.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
I was asked to give an overview to a program that was actually done by SOAR for the summer when they were just putting their feet back in the water to do some in-person programming for education. And I will ask today that others of you who were there, who attended, to help me out, because this was back last August, which in senior years is a long time ago. And it was a wonderful 2-hour presentation by Sheila Cote and her assistant, Nicole, that was held outdoors at the college campus on navigating services for seniors. And I will tell you that the first thing that struck me after that program is that our Macomb County Department of Senior Services is so much more than it was years ago, when I was more up close in personally involved and professionally involved with our senior services. I have distributed an abbreviated handout, which is the one that starts with this, that I borrowed from their website, just to do an overview of some of the services. And again, I will ask Marcia and Carol to chime in and help me as we go along. Our senior services tend to be best known for Meals on Wheels, as it's one of those programs that's been around the longest and touches so many individuals and families throughout Macomb County. They deliver somewheres upward of 1,600 meals a day for lunch, in addition to doing dinner meals for families that need that. The adult daycare center, which at one time was just a few afternoons a week, today does programming for seniors with dementia on-site 5 days a week from 7:30 in the morning until 6 p.m. in the evening. It is helpful not only for the individuals, but it's a huge relief for caregivers and families. Dining senior style, I'm understanding, is recently resumed because we couldn't have congregate dining for so long. But that's another way for seniors to socialize and get nutrition that they need, and there are 22 sites throughout the county that provide that. Handy Helpers is another valuable service, and there's a long list of what Handy Helpers, who are in fact employees of the Senior Services Center, will do for you. Household maintenance tasks, the small things, light bulbs, fixing that faucet, repairing furniture, pest control, and more. On the second page, you'll see that they still operate a loan closet. And one piece of information that was kind of interesting to me, because I used to work in the building where the loan closet was, and they spent so much time checking out and checking in the loaner equipment. How long could people have it? What would happen to it? Will it be returned? And what kind of shape is it returned in? And now, because such equipment is more available and people are more aware of what you can do with that, they're like, fine, just come, check it out, when and if you can return it, do so. It's a much more flexible program, makes a lot more sense. Come and get it. They also do resource advocacy to assess needs for things like the Medicare Part D open enrollment. If you know seniors that need some assistance with that, for example, you can go to a place where nobody has a vested interest in which plan you pick. These people are objective, they are savvy, they are helping our seniors with things like what the community resources are and what to do with those tricky insurance questions. The SHIPT program became was another innovative idea by that senior staff during COVID. And they did manage to get the funds to provide free SHIPT subscriptions for seniors who were in need. And that's still going on. The very colorful brochure, or page of the brochure here, is the Friendly Caller, a very simple thing. It's a more recent program, but again, started during COVID. For people, we worry a lot here about isolated seniors. We worry about how to reach out to them. And this is that friendly phone call, like people used to talk over the back fence and to check on people. Okay. On the next page where it talks about how do seniors get started, it's pretty simple. You make the phone call if you're the senior who needs the help, a family member, a friend, a healthcare professional. You call and get the screening done over the phone. They do a brief interview. It was very apparent to me when Sheila and Nicole were talking, we want to make things simple. We want to be responsive. We want to get the needs met. We don't want to be another piece of bureaucracy that requires you to hurdle a wall to get the services. Okay. When they talk about how do people get started, the last 2 pages of this are something near and dear to my heart because it has to do with Macomb Township employees, who I think are among the finest public employees in Macomb County. And how do seniors get started? Well, sometimes it's because a code enforcement officer comes to your house because they have a blight complaint or they have a violation of noxious weeds ordinance or something else going on. And you have an isolated senior who is not able to keep up their home, perhaps their yard. And this article by Nicole Tuttle is an example of where our code enforcement officer in Macomb Township was called out. He was giving some warnings. He was writing up the complaints about this household, and he went the extra mile and made sure that he met the senior occupant of this home and said, tickets are not useful here. This is not helping at all. And so this was a case where the case finder was that township code enforcement officer and hooked the senior up with services. I'm very proud of him and the other employees. Okay. That is a very abbreviated overview of the program done. And Carol and Marcia, if you have impressions to add to that, would be appreciated.
Carol?
I think, now you have to refresh my memory. For the friendly caller, when the person signs up, they also give a support person or like a next of kin telephone number with their initial setup. And when the person calls for the friendly caller it's kind of a well check, they'll call, if they don't receive an answer after like 2 phone calls, I believe they said that they contact their support person or their next of kin to alert them that there might be something going on you might want to check. So it's kind of another layer of safety for the family.
Marcia, do you have any?
You really covered that well, and I like the addition of the article that you added on at the end here too, because I was just scanning through it, and I thought, this is really what we need to remember also. But I also learned that if somebody signs up for Meals on Wheels, they also have to have a listed name of a responsible person or so. So anytime anybody signs up with the Office of Senior Services for their, for what they need, somebody else in the family or somebody else with a phone number is also on that. So if a delivery person goes to deliver a meal and there's no response there, they have someone that they can call right away. So I think it's really done very, very well. And the presentation was done very well. Like you, Kathy, you remembered more than I did. You remember things back from August. So anyway, it's worth noting, and I recently talked to Nicole Urban and asked her if they have like a one-page flyer of everything they offer, and she said it's in progress or process. So right now the answer would be no, but to look on the website. But the website's kind of, there's no one page where you can just check off everything. So I think that would be helpful for them as well. But they do offer a lot.
I thank you for the good report. It's a very detailed report, and I think some of our commissioners would enjoy hearing a report like this. This pamphlet that you've brought us is very valuable, and even if you were to reproduce this and took it to your senior center and left a dozen copies there, I think it would get some traction. And again, it's all about everything trying to disseminate out from this meeting out into the hinterlands, and very good information. And it's another example of us looking after our neighbor, right? We're creating a safety net that we're all looking after each other, right? And that's what we're called to do. At least I believe we are, to look after each other. And this is another way of all these programs really are doing that in a positive way. And with the addition of the friendly caller, what a good thing. Or the example you gave from Macomb Township with the inspector. I mean, those are low cost things that can be done without any effort at all, no additional expense. And there's probably a reason why no one wants to have their house, overgrown with weeds and things like that. There must be something going on that's not right. And so anyway, very good. Any other questions or comments on this? I need a motion to receive and file this report.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Supported by Commissioner Randazzo. Any other discussion? Please, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, that passes. Item 8 is a report to the Board of Commissioners. This is a 2020-2021 term report on the activities of our committee. And I'm just going to go through it, and you see it in your packets. I don't have to necessarily press read it all, but you see a lot of the issues that we've attended. 15 total meetings. We had 9 virtual meetings during the pandemic, and thank you all for challenging we're all challenged with getting used to using Zoom, but now it's old hat for all of us. But and they had 6 in-person meetings. We chose the first older adult volunteer of the year in 2021. Did a transition between virtual meetings and in-person meetings. Our member here, Phil Randaz, was chosen as Veteran of the Year. Congratulations again. Your service to all those who have served is something to be, it's just remarkable. And we also had recommendation supporting USPS was adopted by the Board of Commissioners supporting our organization. General presentations and discussions, National Kidney Foundation came and gave us a report. So did the Macomb Family YMCA, the Anton Arts Center, Area on Aging, 1B. They gave legislative priorities, Older Michigan's Day, and general updates. A lot of information there. The county departments made presentations, the Macomb Orchard Trail Commission, the Macomb Community Action, talking about the census and the efforts that they made. Our county clerk, Register of Deeds, gave information about what they were up to. So did our county prosecutor and the senior crimes unit. And as I was telling before the meeting, we talked about the senior scams going on and the phone scams and the mail scams. And said, wouldn't it be good if the prosecutor got out into the community and talked about it? Well, those discussions were held here in this committee. When the prosecutor came to give a report, we gave him feedback. All of you gave him feedback on things that would be helpful to the senior committee. And what did he do? He implemented it. and now he's got it out and he's going around the county and doing these type of outreaches as a result of what he heard from all of us here. So again, that's a credit to all of you serving on this committee. We also heard from the Public Works Commissioner and Martha T. Berry. We had county-related presentations regarding the Suburban Mobile Authority Regional Transportation Update, the DIA Virtual Senior Program. So we heard a little bit about how that tied in to what the college is doing, and certainly those options are still available. And then the DIA Tri-County millage programs were also given. Then the Board of Commissioners specific presentations dealing with the county budget updates, annual casual days that we're getting ready to start again this year, that we do a casual day to go out and support public services across the county. We're going to start that up soon. Our commissioner will be getting an update from our staff here shortly on that subject. Our annual Yoga on the Hill update, that's always a good day to go there and stretch, and a guy like me doesn't do that very often, and they all had a good laugh when I was trying to do it, I'll tell you that. Pat Daniels gave us Macomb County Veteran of the Year Award, and then we had COVID and pandemic updates and all the things that were going on with COVID during a very tense time, quite frankly, with the numbers escalating. People didn't know what we were getting into, but we all came through it together. And then we also sent some love to the Martha D. Berry Project. We sent some communication to all of them. So it's been a very active year. It's been a very active year, and this report will be communicated to the rest of the Board of Commissioners. And it's something we all ought to be proud of, the work that's being done here. I need a motion to receive and file that report.
Make a motion?
Okay, it's moved and supported. Any discussion on any of that? Anybody, did we forget anything? There was a lot. We surely must have forgot something maybe, but if we did, let us know, and we'll include it in the report before we pass it along. All those in favor of receiving and filing that report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item 9 is correspondence. We have a resignation letter from Camilla Powers, and District 1 representative, dated September 28, 2021, and I need a motion to receive and file her resignation. Moved and supported. Supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On a related subject, terms are up, so if you wish to be reapplied to serve on this committee, let our board know, our staff know, and we'll get you the paperwork to complete that. And so if you want to re-up for another term, let us know, and we'll get back in touch with you. And then item 10 is public participation. Is there anyone from the public who wish to be heard? No ordinary member of the public, Commissioner Matuzak?
I know all of you received an email about the Area Agency on Aging survey. I hope you will take a minute to fill that out. I'm the county's representative on the board of AAA, and I wanted to make sure that you all have input into what they're constructing as the 3-year plan. Goals that they would like to see accomplished for the next 3 years. And I think they really need input from regular seniors and not just agencies who have a sort of vested interest in how the money is spent and where it's spent. But having input from people who are out in the community and see what seniors actually need would be very helpful. So I encourage you all to fill out the survey. And if you need a link, we can send it again.
Thank you, Commissioner Matuzak. Because you're under public participation, we can't technically have interaction with you, but we're going to do that in a minute. Any other members of the public wish to be heard? Any other members of the public wish to be heard? Seeing no one, other members. Comments and comments from the members of the committee. It gives me, I'm happy to say that I've asked Commissioner Matuzak to chair this committee going forward. She's a great person to do that, given her role on the AAA board. She's very experienced and very well connected in so many things. And just like she just offered you today, opportunity to have input on the 3-year plan. Rarely have we had serious input on that plan or been asked to give input on it. The Board of Commissioners does, but quite frankly, it's at the end of the process, and it's really going along with what seems to be a already foregone conclusion that we're going to approve it. You're getting on the ground level of some of the interactions, and she'll be she'll be our voice on that. She's going to take your comments to heart and have it be heard. There's no doubt about that. And so thank you again for offering to chair the committee. I'm very happy. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just down the hall, and I'll probably be around anyway, poke my head in, and we'll be sharing ideas. But there's a lot of good ideas and brain trust right here on this committee, and Julie, we're going to make the best of it. So, any other comments from any of you on any other subject? Commissioner Randazzo.
Yes, I just like to say a thank you to the Board of Commissioners from Macomb County, also to the Adult Advisory Committee here, on selecting me as a Veteran of the Year for Macomb County. It curtailed more than I thought when I found out about it. And I'll share it, that Lansing, they had representatives stop at my home and present a tribute to me. And this shows you the effect of this committee here and the commissioners. And then even Shelby Township, which where I live, Vince Viviano, one of the trustees, I believe he's also on the road commissioners committee. He had a huge sign he had the county put up on Van Dyke near 21 Mile Road, home of Phil Randazzo, veteran, Macomb County Veteran of the Year. And I got a phone call early in the morning from Don Dion, the mayor of Utica. He says, Phil, they're putting a sign up on Van Dyke with your name on it. And I said, what did I do last night? You know, I thought it was home night. So it took me a while to get out there and look. And I got up on Van Dyke and I seen that sign. But I couldn't stop because it was a big shock to my system. From all the years what I've been through, when I came back out of Vietnam, there was no such things like that, you know. So I thought I'd share that with the committee on what that does to the veteran, what it does to the community out there. That they didn't know, Lansing didn't know I existed, you know, and Shelby Township knew it, but not in the way as the commissioners brought it out in this committee here. So I would just like to bring that to everybody's attention for the record, stating how important that is for that veteran. And I thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Randazzo. We appreciate you and your service in the past and all the service you've done since you left the country. So we're grateful to have you in our presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Any other comments? It's been a really good, productive meeting. A lot of good information came in this meeting today, and let's not let it be a secret. Let's push it out. Need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Have a nice afternoon. Take care.